Hey guys, it's Bree and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my September manga wrap-up. Now, all of the manga that I picked for this September wrap-up is not manga that I included in my Fall Into Manga Love 2020 TBR. I made a separate wrap-up for that TBR, so check out that video if you want to know my thoughts on all of the manga that I read for the readathon. But this is all of the other manga that I read this month, which is quite a bit of manga, quite a bit of volumes, and yeah, let's just jump into it. So first up, we have one of the first series that I actually read this month, and that is The Golden Sheep by Kaori Ozaki, who is the creator who also made The God's Lie, which is a very popular one-shot. So I already owned The God's Lie and I really enjoyed that one-shot, so I decided to pick up the series. It is a 3-volume series, and I picked it up during the Indigo buy two get one free manga sale, so it was the perfect time to pick it up, I guess. The main reason that I was interested in reading The Golden Sheep was because a lot of people were comparing it to Anohana, because it has a very similar premise behind it, where it is about a girl who had a group of childhood friends in this small town, and then she moves away, but she remembers them from her childhood, and then she moves back to the small town when she is in high school. And she comes back and she kind of expects for them to be very similar to how she remembered them. And at the beginning they kind of are, but then the longer she stays, the more she realizes that a lot of things have changed, and a lot of the relationships between her childhood friends have changed. Now, this manga is pretty intense on the drama, so I definitely would not recommend it to everyone. It deals with some, I guess, darker themes, but overall, if you really like the one-shot The God's Lie, then you'd really like this manga. It is so similar in tone. Overall, I really enjoyed the 3 volumes. I really recommend them. And yeah, on to the next volume that I read, and it is Spy Family Volume 2. Now, when I first read Spy Family, I wasn't completely sold on it yet. I thought that it was like a fun premise behind it because it's about a spy named Twilight who has to get close to this politician by having a fake family. It's kind of like the fake dating trope, but a step further with having a fake family. So he has to get like a wife and a kid to go to this very prestigious boarding school to be able to get this tie with this important figure. And it just so happens that the people that he picks to be his fake family and end up having their own quirks / talents. His wife, notably, is an assassin, and his daughter is a telepath who knows kind of the whole scenario. It's a very fun series. Anya, who is on the front of this cover, is the best character. She is so wonderful. I love this volume in particular because it is very Anya-centric. It is about her going to the boarding school. Honestly, after reading this second volume, I immediately went onto the Shonen Jump app and just like devoured the rest of the chapters that were available. I could not wait until the 3rd volume came out. So now I just suffer, I guess, until another chapter comes out. If you haven't checked out Spy Family yet, I highly recommend it. It's super good. The next series that I started in September was Shortcake. It is a shoujo series that honestly has kind of grown in popularity, I guess. I just was really intrigued by the cover. It has a very unique art style on the cover. I ended up really enjoying this first volume way more than I thought I would because, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'm over the whole high school romance, and this one in particular is another like boarding house romance, which there has been so many of those of recent years. So I was like, whatever. But actually, I enjoyed this volume in particular because the main character is a very fun protagonist. I like that she just has a really strong personality. Like I guess she's kind of like a go-getter. Like she's not like a shy, reserved girl like you usually see in shoujo manga, and I guess I really enjoyed that, and I am totally picking up the second volume. So the next manga that I want to talk about is not one that I physically own, but one that I read on the Shonen Jump app, and it is Astra Lost in Space. I read all of this series in a day. I just crushed all 40 or so chapters. I didn't expect it to be as addicting in story as it was, but it was so good. I am definitely considering picking up physical copies of it just because I loved it that much. Astra Lost in Space is about a group of people, I guess they're teenagers, who are going to this space program school where they have to do a kind of training camp where they have to go to a planet and survive on it for a week. But this whole field trip for their school goes completely wrong when they end up being stranded in space instead of being on this survival trip, and they have to figure out a way back. And of course, the story has a really big twist for how they became stranded in space. Turns out there's someone who betrayed them on board, who was likely the person who made it so that they would become lost in space. They figured this out because the communicator is down and it's been recently sabotaged, probably from someone on board with them. And then basically drama and survival drama in particular ensued. It is a very fun series, and I found that a lot of the characters were a lot more likable than I thought they would be, and the whole twist at the end, you could see it coming, but at the same time, it was so good. It was so well done. I loved it. Definitely recommend checking out Astra Lost in Space, especially if you have the Shonen Jump app. Super cheap to get the app. Read all of the chapters in one night, like I did. I guess I might as well talk about the other series that I read on the Shonen Jump app while I'm on it. The other series that I read in September, all of, was Haikyu, which, yes, I read all 40 volumes in probably a week, maybe less. I was just obsessed. It was a very fun ride overall. I really enjoyed it as a sports manga. It is a very well done sports manga through and through. I guess I got really invested in a lot of the characters. I appreciated how long the third year stuck around, because in sports manga a lot of the time they go through arcs even where like certain people graduate but they still have to like hold up the team or whatever. So I like that. I also liked the ending a lot. I don't really want to spoil Haikyu, but yeah, I read all of it in a week or less, and yeah, that's what I mean by the Shonen Jump app not liking me, because I think I reached the 100 chapter limit twice in like 24 hours or something, because I was just burning through the series. It was so good. The next manga that I am going to talk about is Volume 2 of My Dress Up Darling. This volume was so good. If you know anything about My Dress Up Darling, it is about a guy who is a Hina doll creator. So he paints these types of traditional Japanese dolls, and he meets this girl who really wants to become a cosplayer but doesn't really know that much about it. And because he has experience in sewing and stuff, she basically drags him along into her cosplay adventure. So in the second volume, we actually get to see him finish the cosplay and see the girl go to the cosplay event. It was so fun. I really love this series. I find it pretty wild that this series is rated mature, because honestly, nothing's really happened that I would warrant as mature. If anything, it's just a little bit ecchi sometimes, especially in this second volume. It's like, I mean, sure, there was like maybe some ecchi scenes. I am okay with that though, and I will definitely be reading the third volume. The final series that I'm going to talk about, that was a series that I read in September, is Our Dreams at Dusk by Yuhki Kamatani. This series, I read all 4 volumes this September, and I loved all of them. It is so good. This series is really well known for being a LGBT read. It features a whole bunch of LGBT characters, most prominently the main character, who is a high schooler who is gay, and he has come to terms with that, but also he is not out, so he discovers this almost common space of this, not really a share house, I don't know how to describe it, it's just like this building where these people all gather and like hang out, where they're all part of the LGBT community, and what they do is they renovate properties. And so he joins them and he is able to come to terms with his identity, and overall this entire series is about a whole bunch of different identities, and it follows quite a few different struggles that different LGBT people face. It is a amazingly heartfelt story. Yuki Kamatani almost creates these scenes while like a character standing somewhere, you'll see like wherever they're standing in the building kind of melt away, and then it'll be this beautiful visual metaphor for like how they are feeling, and you can get kind of understand what their thought process is through that visual metaphor. It is so beautiful. The last volume in particular made me cry at the end. It was so good. I would really recommend this to anyone, especially people who want to read more LGBT manga. This one in particular is amazing. That is all of the manga that I'm going to talk about in my wrap up. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these manga and if you have enjoyed them, or if you have any recommendations for me based off of the manga that I showed here. And yeah, I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!